brethren, I just want to appreciate all this talk that is going on. It is a kind of healing, and we are so grateful that we are able to listen. Each one of us has a story about the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. I have my own story, but let us leave the family to talk for now. I just want to hand this money that we have put together. It is church money, but we have a policy to give back to the bereaved family. So we have collected 1,188,000, and I'd like to appreciate all of you on behalf of the Archbishop who was here. I'd like to hand this money to the family. Thank you.
As you're putting your head down to think about praying about him, then there's a social media post. He has gone. Jacob Oulanyah, mie. And then our attention is taken away. Uganda has tortured us. I want you to put yourselves in our shoes. If it were you, you have a relative who is not well, and all you're thinking about is prayer for him to come back. And then you open the next Facebook post, Jacob Oulanyah mie. What would you feel? We are just requesting you to give us dignity. Let us celebrate him. Let us send him off. All the hullabaloo in the media space is good for you, but it's not necessary for us. Just allow us send off Uncle. And you'll hear what he meant to us when you come, when we speak here. Dennis, I see you there. Marvin, I see you there. Letitia, please come out. So who wants to go first? Let me give Uncle Aliang.
The brother I've missed made my mind even to fail to work. Here is a brother whom, when I go to his office in Parliament, many people might not have seen me. He's a joking guy. He would tell me, Alfred, wait for me there. I'm still busy. Then there are many people going, ministers, MPs, LC5s. But I think after being busy, he would remember a bit. He comes out himself out of the door. You, come here. Then he would give me a minute. What is it? And I be to the point. Then he tells me, okay, you go. I have a young brother at the airport called Obonyo. He has made that boy very popular. Whenever he's flying out, he tells everybody around him, this is my brother, take care of him. He jokes. So I don't have much to say. I just pray we escort him. He rests in peace. Thank you.
He taught me love. He told me to be kind to people. He told me to be humble. He taught me how to respect people in whatever capacity they are. I will miss him. I will miss him a lot. Thank you.
And to be raised by him. Actually, he brought me when I was very young. I'm his sister, but because he brought me from my mother, actually, my parents, they just gave birth to me. He's the one who raised me up. I remember I was about 6 years when he brought me to Kampala. So I got all the opportunity to grow up with him. I saw him as a great father, a great husband, and a great friend, because his home was always full of people. In the evening like this, people are taking tea. So he taught me a lot. I learned a lot from him. He taught us not to steal. He taught us to be contented with what you have. He taught me to be truthful. Don't tell lies. Accept if it is your mistake. And in this home, it was very peaceful. When he lost his wife, it was the beginning of every problem. So, but to cut a long story short, I miss him because he's my friend. He's really my very good friend. I'm very free with him. I can joke with him. I remember when I came from Gulu, he was very ill. But when he saw me, he always liked making fun of me. And for me, I always create something to make him laugh. I can come and say, you see, I've lost weight. And he's not seeing any weight loss. So he starts laughing. So when I was already here in Kampala, he was sick. I came. It was around this time. I went to his room, my phone, he was alone. So I looked at him. I said, brother, you are looking malnourished. I need to bring for you ordinary. Now ordinary is somebody is for malnourished children. When I talked like that, it was so funny for him. But he didn't have the energy to laugh. He just told me, you give that ordinary to Emuna, because he always liked making fun of the two of us. So we are really going to miss him. In fact, the gap that he has left, it is going to take years. That gap is, I don't know whether it will be filled, but let him rest.
For us, we have a team. It was Auntie Stella, Otis' wife. We pray 6 o'clock, 9, midnight, 3 o'clock, like that, for 3 weeks. We don't sleep. We have started our team, the team no sleep, prayer warrior. So, on Saturday, I've given Auntie Harriet a chapter for forgiveness. When we pray, we pray, we pray. I told Auntie Harriet, now you first go and sleep. For me, let me push. And I pray, I pray, I pray. Uncle Jacob came. This side was for speaker. This side was for Reverend. I said, praise God. That time on Saturday, we prayed like that. I went and knelt down in my bathroom, faced the sink. I prayed. Uncle Jacob came to me, just shook the head and said, Lillian, that is the hand. We shall meet. Amen.
I had to collect myself to be able to say something. My name is Dennis Okori, and the Honorable called me his walking stick. I have been with him through all his elections. I've been with him through. I see people that I remember while we're doing a lot of things. Chris Obore, just in the recent SEC elections when he moved around the whole country. And I just wanted to thank everyone who has made this dream come true. He had just one dream, and he was not afraid to say it. He wanted to be the Speaker of Parliament. It's the one thing he wanted, and he always said it. Well, I wanted to put out my cry to God, but then I realized he actually achieved his dream. He became Speaker. And he had his 26th time in the House, 27. It's hard to believe he's not around. I have always coped him. It has come on his birthday. He promised that we shall move. I'll continue to work and Uncle, lay well. You have very strong people everywhere. All that you stood for will remain. It's our prayer that the good Lord welcomes you the way we think He has, because you love the Lord, you danced for the Lord, you glorified God, and your actions showed it. I know that wherever you are, you're happy, because all his moments he was happy. I just want to thank God for his time that you shared with him, and blessings upon everyone that has stood with the family. It's a hard time. We shall get through it. We keep on believing in God. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and staying with us and accompanying us on this journey. It's a journey we did not expect to undertake this year or anytime soon. But I'm a strong believer of the word, and God's ways are not our ways. The whole of today, I was just thinking of Uncle Jacob in his white school trousers, the Kololo SS uniform, every time he left home to go to school. And then when he was joining the university, and Daddy gave him a stern warning not to join politics, because Daddy was a politician, and he told him politics, I won't say what he said. And when Uncle Jacob got to the university, you all know what he did. And he joined the race for guild speaker. And he came to Daddy, and Daddy did not rebuke him, but sat him down and started mentoring him. And I remember his first trip out of the country, he still went to Daddy for that counsel. Uncle Jacob was a very submissive man to authority. We always called him Mommy's baby brother. And every time he was in the media, we told him, your baby brother is in the media again. And she would come up here to rebuke him if it was not something nice. Those are the memories I have of Uncle Jacob. Not the big politician that people knew, but the guy that we would go with when you are going to visit Uncle Peter at the university, and would stop by Wandegea Market and buy bananas and take them to the university and sit and eat. The guy, we used to have a sugarcane garden. The guy would go with to the sugarcane garden and eat sugarcanes without a knife, just chew, yeah? Those are the memories I have. And when he rose up to fame, Uncle Jacob did not forget us in the church, dancing to Wipolo Bot Lubanga. He loved that song. And I asked him, I said, hey, but you are supposed to be in Nairobi. He said, I could not miss your wedding. I had to be here. Meanwhile, Auntie Dorothy was having Ezra in hospital. She was in theater. That is the kind of guy we've lost. So today, you know, Dr. Miles Monroe said, the richest place on the planet is not the gold mines of South Africa. It's not the oil wells of Iran. It's just down the road, it's the cemetery. In there lie unwritten books. In there lie unimplemented reforms that Uncle Jacob had planned for the speakership, for the parliament, for this nation. and it is a great loss to us. But I thank God because, you know, the Bible says, I planted the seed and Apollos watered it. I know that God is going to raise an Apollos to water the seed that Uncle Jacob planted. So may the Lord strengthen us all. We thank you so much for supporting us. May God bless you.
Uncle Jacob is a man who put God first, and those are one of the things that I managed to pick from him. In my last meeting with him, we talked so much, and I promised him so much, and I will make sure that I will live to my promises I made to him. One thing I am proud of is I know he's in heaven because he has loved his God, and he has served his nation purposely. Thank you.
Letty?
I'm Detective Inspector of Police. I'm called Atol Miriam. I work with Parliament. The late is my uncle. My father is his brother. But I think for the people I work with, fellow police officers, it is his death that has made them to know that my father is his brother. They all along thought he was my biological father. The way he was treating me, what I can remember from him is one thing. That is why whenever I think, whenever I reach the gate, I just have to break down because it was like something already in us. When you reach the gate, for he used to call me Mama, Atoy. If me and this aunt of mine is not there, I think other businesses in this home will not begin as far as happiness is concerned. We live a very rich life the way a chairman speaker said yesterday. He would not want us to be sad. I would come with issues that I think it is too big. He would laugh at me in this compound and tell me that, Miriam, should I tell you mine? When he gives me his, we end up laughing. So when we reach, first thing you have to do is to, in actually we said, Mirigo Kijera, so that you are identified. So when I make it from the gate, if he has a bila, in actually, from up there, he will respond. Or he will know that we have reached. That was the fun we used to make here. And dancing. It is so sad that everything has changed today because it is a mass. Whether there is going to be a meeting, we first dance. There's a small radio he puts in the corner there. We dance. And my younger sister takes the money every time we dance because he pays us. He wanted us to learn the cultural dance. He wanted us to know how to sing. But above all, he will say, hard work and discipline. And that's what we have in the force. He says, you have to be disciplined. I don't want to be told that my daughter is doing this, my daughter is doing this. And I think I'm proud to say that I was excelling well. But he could only tell me that now my problem with you is who is going to marry an askari? You are the only askari in our home. And indeed, I'm the only police officer in that village of ours, in Lalogi, who is a woman. The rest are men. So that challenge is there. He keeps telling me, now when you are carrying an AK-47, much as I'm a detective, me, I'm operational, I will carry guns. So he will see in the paper and say, now which man will marry you? I think this Annie will bring for us two chicken to be around the compound so that when you bring your head of police, we just say, you man, take your chicken. So every time we would laugh like that. You know, it is so rare to see him sad. Even if I go to him in the office, whether in the corridor, when people talk certain things that it is very hard to meet him, I just laugh because for me, whether it is the corridor, know that this mother of mine, if I don't talk to her, business will not begin in the house. So generally, I know that we are really going to miss him because I have been very stubborn to him. Very stubborn as in I want to know. If I don't talk to him, like when he was in the hospital, I think I was among the few relatives who would talk to him. If he does not pick my call or respond to my messages, I would go to the deputy speaker's office and I say, Madam, I don't know how my father is. It is now 5 days. He has not answered my message. And Madam would call him and I talk to him. You know, I had hope, honestly speaking. I told him, people fall sick, even me, I fall sick. You will come back. When the news reaches that it has happened the way it is, I took it that social media. And I remember posting on the forum that whoever is spreading this, I'm going to investigate you personally. Personally, I posted that. Whoever read my page, I was ready to handle that case with feelings. Until when Andrew called me and told me that it is true, Daddy has gone. So it's like rain has taken away the roof from us. And I still remember the Kijera, because when I reach the gate and I say, if Betty is there, Auntie Betty, you will know for Betty. And you say, Ajak, manu pekitu kobukere, pekitu go kerajera. You know, like you will respond immediately. The two of us, they would think we are sisters. But she's my auntie, she's their last born. And this one, if we are not there, you can even see the size. Things will not work here. Our life was just happiness. You will not come to him that you are begging money. You will say, why did I take you to school? Because I wanted you to help me. I remember when I went to Somalia, he told me, you say you are strong. Oh, you grew up during Kony's rebel thing. Al-Shabaab will handle you. I promised him that I will deal with Al-Shabaab. And indeed I dealt with Al-Shabaab. I came back alive, and he was happy, you know. So I would love him. I would love to be like him. But he would cut me short that you are a woman. You will not get married. You are a woman. You will not get married. But me, I will tell him, like they always say, everything a man does, a woman can do it better. So I will prove him every time like that, and will say, this is my commander. For the few MPs whom he will meet me with, he will say, this is my commander. She can do anything if it is about me, which is true, you know. So I will believe it is last night that I tried to really accept that. I think he is not there when I heard from our chairman, Norbert Mao, and the Chief Justice. Somehow, I told my auntie that I think Uncle is not there now, because these are the only two people I was waiting to hear from. Even our Uncle Emuna, because he knows us to be happy, he wants us to be happy. I was not believing on what he was saying. I knew he was softening our hearts. Actually, all of us never believed until when we heard from these fathers of ours. Last night, we are able to stand now and say, God, we have prayed. I asked for leave to pray with the family. Every night, morning, we were on Zoom, we could pray that God, 99% of people in this world loved our father. So if all their prayers can be accepted, you will come back. I swear, if this death would come and ask us who are standing here that we have come in this compound, we want to go with one of you. Being a soldier myself, I would say, take me. Because I've seen death, I've been in wars, I would accept. Because of him, I would accept that, take me. In good faith, I will accept, because I know that these ones here, we all still need him, you know. It is sad, but thank you for coming to be with us. I pray that when you get us on the way, the faces you're seeing, please, you always remember our father, and life will go on, but we will always try. We will always try what he has been telling us. I don't think any of us has been having any bad record. There's no kid, there's no child of the speaker that has been in discipline. And you will never be in discipline in this family, and they will see you. Actually, all these people here, you tell them, issues of police, call Miriam, don't disturb me, don't disturb the guards. Me, I will handle them myself. If you are the wrong, I will report to him that this one here made us not to sleep last night because of ABCD. And they know I will report. Because he was a no-nonsense person, just as the members of the parliament were saying, even from home, that was the same discipline. You know, you come late to see him, by 5 minutes, you meet him coming down and will say, this is not your time, it is for someone else. You will go, you know. So, We pray that wherever I know he is with us, he is seeing how you people are with us, and he will continue to be with us. Thank you very much. Really, thank you for loving us as a family and for loving Uncle Jacob. The one thing I would say about Uncle Jacob is that he's a man of his word and he's a promise keeper. When Daddy passed on, I remember we had just lowered him in the grave, and he came and carried me at my big age. I was 15, and he carried me, and he said, I will be here. I am here for you. And he has kept his word. He stood with the family. He has been there for us. At my graduation, when I sent him the invitation for my graduation, he accepted. He said, of course I'll be there. And then that day before, he got a call from the president. Actually, it was that morning. He got a call from the president summoning him. And then he called and said, I have to be at your graduation. I have to speak at your graduation. So let me, could you start a bit earlier so that I can be there? That's the kind of man that we have lost. He was there and he spoke so eloquently, and he said how proud he was of each and every one of us, and particularly of me. And then the thing that amused me was when he was leaving, he called me and said, come, let's go to the car. So when we went to the car, then he said, now I couldn't do this from there, but let me tell you something. I don't know what to buy for girls of your age at graduations, but go and buy for yourself something and write a card and say it's from me. And then, then later when you come and tell me what you've bought, so that when my Tima is graduating, I will know what to buy for her. So Tima, I'll write the card on Daddy's behalf, and I will give you the gift that I bought for myself. Thank you so much for standing with us, and may God bless you.
I met Uncle Jacob when I was in Nabisunsa Girls' School, and he was in Oulanyah'S, but we met in a seminar. And the thing that struck me about him was the eloquence in his presentation and the way he would discuss papers at the seminar. And so, and he was an economist. He knew economics. And me and my friends decided that we were going to become their friend so that we could pass economics in A level. So that is how we befriended him. And so we formed a discussion group over the holidays. We would then discuss between Nabisunsa College School, Chambo College School, and Oulanyah'S. And then from there, I didn't know that he had made it to the university, and he also didn't know. So I was in the corridors of Complex Hall, which is CCE. It was a mixed hall. And then I find him in the corridor. Complex Oye, those who are here. Complex Oye, the rest. So I was in the corridors, and then he met me and told me, so he looked so familiar. I knew everything. He would show us around. So for us, we were the banners. What are we called? Freshers. We were the freshers. So he met me and said, oh, I have a brother I always come to see here. He was in Mitchell then. I have a brother I always come to see here. I said, okay, where is he? So he said, my brother is in 3rd year. Long story short, he was the Kayungirizi. I became the brother's wife. And the result of becoming the brother's wife is Marvin, Letitia, and so on. And we got 4 children. At the Koanjula, at the introduction, he was the spokesperson. So I remember vividly, you know the actual introductions, how tough they are. It was going late into the night. It was getting to 3. The negotiations had come to a stalemate. And Honorable Mao remembers this. So he was seated in there. And then Doctor picked a paper and started writing. I think we should leave this place. I don't think it's okay for us. So he got the paper from him and said, I'm going to say that. And then instead he kept the paper. So I could see Doctor looking at him and trying to push him to say, and then he just kept quiet. That is how strong-willed he was. He then later on told me, that's what he said. But finally, they say, the marriage entered at about 4 a.m., and that is how costly I was. But when his brother decided to relocate, like Letitia mentioned, he promised that he would be there. And I will tell you, from the first day to this day, even as late as the When did we see him, Marvin? 21st of December, when Marvin was getting married. He told Marvin, when we came to see him here, and he told me, which he used to call me Ochira, Ochira, I'm not well. Then I asked him, what is it, Uncle J? I'm not well. So he said, he just told Marvin, I'm going to be there. I may be there at the introduction or both. But depending on what work permits, I will accept, I will come, I'll be there. But what I want to tell you is that he has been our protector, our defender, our everything. Now, when I was growing up, I thought these things that they talk about, in-laws grabbing property, in-laws fighting for this, that it used to happen to uneducated women. No, it happened to me. They sat me down in a clan meeting, and the in-law was there, but my defenders, the Honorable Felix Okotogong, Dr. Maxwell Otim, Ojede Peter, and Honorable Jacob. So he told me that we left the village, came, and some of these things the children are hearing for the first time, because I've kept it from them. So he left, he told us to come back to Kampala, and then he took a journey back home. And then when he came straight from home, he drove straight to my house and then said, Ochiri, I have been to the village. I have talked to your brothers-in-law. Whatever they have told me, I'll never tell you. All I want you to do is to keep your head above the water. Don't drown. Keep swimming. Keep swimming. And he kept his word, because even when the brother passed on, he didn't want me to see him mourn. He didn't want me to, but he really, really broke down. Because at one point he disappeared from the hospital. And then he appeared and sat next to me and said, you know what, this is going to be a very, very long journey, but I am going to be with you. Yesterday, I had a conversation with him, and some of you who are on social media saw my picture there. I was really having a talk with him because in December when I met him, he made some promises. He told me, no, you know what, I know what happened to you. Just for the record, my house got burnt down in March last year. On this day, today, 23rd, makes 1 year since my house was gutted by fire. And at that time, I was in Addis Ababa. So I picked the phone from Addis because I could not get hold of anybody. Fire brigade was not reaching anywhere. So I picked the phone and called him. He picked up the phone and said, what is it? I said, the house is burning. He asked me which house. I said, the home in Mutungo. So, well, long story short, he called, and then fire brigade came. They tried to put off the fire, but we lost everything. And one thing that he said, he said it to somebody that I will not go to see my brother's house burn down, and he never went. But the promise he made, and the conversation I was having with him, that when I come back, we shall finish that house, and then we will have Thanksgiving there. And so I was having this discussion with him and saying, look, so how are we going to finish that house when this is how you've come back? And he prepared us for everything, prepared me for everything except this. He did not prepare us on what to do, how to manage, what to... And so as you see us here, we are a very closely knit family. And we don't know brothers, we don't know cousins or whatever. We are all brothers and sisters. And those of us who are sisters in love and sisters in law, we just call ourselves Anyek. It doesn't matter from which family you're from, but we are one. And he has been the pillar. Uncle Jacob, I'd practiced to speak like you. But I think I'll try it next time, because I really, really had tried and practiced, but I think when I go deep into that, I may take a different turn. I would like to ask Andrew or Tima. Tima would like to say something? Andrew. Andrew, speak for you? Okay.
And that's my father. It's a tough moment for all of us here. I know it's often said that you're not the only one who has lost a father, but he's our only father. So the pain is unique, but our hope is in Christ, but also our hope is in those who have experienced it before. Yes, they've survived, they've lived, they've prospered, so why can't we also do that? So my message to the family here is that my father was not one of handovers and goodbyes. He was sick for a long time, I would take care of him, but would never tell me what was wrong because he had a hope that he'll be fine.
Tukutendereza Yesu, Yesu oli mwana wandiga, omusai gunaziza, nebaza omulokozi, nebaza eyanunulanze, mponya wachisa, Yesu ankuma, asanyusiza era bulicho, yebazibwe, tukutendereza Yesu, Yesu oli mwana wandiza.
So let's stop there. So my father, so who broke this thing? And he always started telling lies. He would beat you worse than what that thing cost, just so that you'd never tell a lie again. So to catch any of us here telling a lie, just know it is well calculated. You've looked at all the angles and what could go wrong. So there are many things we learned from our father. But one of the key things that I picked from his stories was one about a setting in an airport. In that airport, there was a girl who was selling apples. I think you heard that story before. So she had those vendors. Forget how you the parameters of the story, but you're selling apples in an airport, and then some businessmen in the executive suits are around, and one of them knocks that tray over, okay, and the apple are scattered. Now that is the source of the livelihood. So that was the source of the livelihood, but the apples are scattered. So there were about 9 gentlemen, and one of them came back to help the girl who was trying to look for the apples, to pick them one by one. So when the man helped her collect all the apples and put them back on the tray, she asked him, "Are you Jesus? Are you Jesus?" So the gentleman was confused and asked her, "Why do you say so? I am not Jesus." "I say you're Jesus because when I lost all my apples, I prayed to him to help me." He didn't know that the girl was blind, but he helped her nonetheless. So she prayed to God to help her find all the apples, and the man came and helped her. So my message in that is that let us be charitable. Let's help those who are in need. He believes so much in the Ubuntu concept that I am because you are. Okay? So it's what does humble. I am a husband because I have a wife. I want to raise a daughter, I want to raise a son, but I won't marry that daughter. I won't marry that son. I'm raising that son, that daughter for the community. So it is your responsibility as another parent to raise a responsible daughter, a responsible son, that we can bring together, unite, and then have a prosperous community. You believe, look at the trees. If I plant a tree, the tree itself does not give itself shade. Okay? But because you're under it, so basically the Ubuntu concept makes us humble and part of the community. You believe that the the quotes are so many, but he was a unifier, a reconciler. That's why he had this statement that the blood that connects us is stronger than these other colors, the party colors, the racism and the like that might separate us. So he looked at the blood level, not the colors of your parties and what. So I'm really proud to be a son, and I want you to look at all of us here and know that this is the legacy that he has left of strong, courageous people. I see Mr. Yubu there. Yubu, please stand up. If you could just come here, just briefly. Yubu, Yubu, please come. So Yubu, our father, our dad, was a very modest man. If he paid for your school fees, he would not announce it. Okay? If he helped you, he would not announce it. It's the same way he was conducting business in Parliament. If there was an issue, he would be addressing it individually. He would not announce that he's now resolving the issue. We're working on the issue. No, he was actually not a politician. I wouldn't call him a politician. But Yubu has requested that I talk about the scholarship, the sponsorship. I wouldn't have talked about it. So Yubu, do you want to say something? It's okay. At least say hello. Tell the people about yourself, who you are. You may not give the details, okay?
Good evening, everyone. I'm by the name Yubo Onyong. I feel so bad for what is happening. It's something that I didn't expect it. Because according to the way sometimes Chris Bore can witness, there are times he calls me and he tells me how to live, how to do things with the kind of a person I am. There's one thing he told me one day, that Yubu, the kind of a person you are, if you don't take serious of your life, everyone will take advantage of you. I want you to change from being a boy of swag to a man of class. He told me that, I remember, he's the one who sponsored me at the university. He's someone who had always called me. Every time I'm in school, he calls me. Every time I'm out of school, he tells me, you're not going back to the village. I'm not paying you to go to the village. Come and volunteer in Parliament. Whenever I come, if I go to him, he tells me, go to Bore. That is your second father after me. If I'm not there. So when I'm doing something, if I go to Bore, he will not even counter. He says, did you talk to your father first? I remember when I told him that, because he had over-inspired me, and I told him I wanted to go and stand for Member of Parliament. He laughed at me, and he told me, for you who is small, you will just get finished. I told him, you told me to be strong, I will be strong. I will not get finished. He went with me to one of the nursing school in Gulu, and he told me to stand up and talk. When I spoke, he looked at me and he asked me, are you alone or someone else is in you? And I told him, no, I'm alone. But in fact, I am who I am because I follow what you tell me. He told me, so what one biggest work can you tell me? And I told him, I know my future is bright and my kids will not grow like I've grown. I told him, the kind of friends you make right now is the connections that your children will have. Now that I have you, there's no way my children will suffer. And I told him my kids will never feed on pancakes and black tea. He laughed at me. And when he fell sick, I reached to him one day. He was seriously sweating in office. I entered into his office. He told me I had not paid for my rent. So I was going there to ask for money for rent. He told me, you have to hustle. Not everything is not soft. Hustle, and I want to hear after 4 days you have paid the rent. If you have not paid, don't come to me. I was like, oh man, this man has become serious. So I started looking around as if he had talked to Bore. If I go to Chris, Yubu Parliament does not have money. I was like, if I go to him, he tells me, Yubu, I'm broke. I was like, what am I going to do? I started using my brain as a man. I started thinking now like a man. So one day he phoned me driving and he told me, now if policemen stop you, what are you going to tell them? I told him one word. I told him if they stop me and they ask me, you child, I will tell them, correct, you can't call somebody's husband a child. He laughed and he said, okay, I know now you matured, you can do bad. All I can say, I've never seen someone like Jacob. I promised to him that the elders are here. I promise that I will carry on his legacy. Few times or with time, I have to be a speaker in that house. The way he took care of me, The way Jacob met me was very funny. It was very funny. I don't have to talk about this a lot, but all I can say is I know he's in heaven. That's the truth. I know he's in heaven.
I'm going to keep mine quite short. And thank you, everyone, for coming today to commemorate the life of Jacob Oulanyah, my father. One key thing my father displayed was love. And what he loved with a passion. My family, for example, he loved us dearly, and he loved his country more than you guys can even imagine. I cannot even go into the life lessons he taught me because that's way too much, right? He was my mother and my father. I lost my mother at a young age, and he took on the work of being my mother as well. He would braid my hair, he would bathe me, he would buy me clothes, everything I needed. He got me. And it so happens that he passed 3 days before his birthday. But we're here to celebrate down on earth while he parties with the angels up in heaven. So thank you once again for coming, and if you were here, he would be very, very happy. Thank you.
Everyone has an experience of Jacob. Some wonder, how did this Chris from Bukedia get so close to Jacob? The story begins in 201. Which year did Ekura stand, the late stand for president? 2001. I was in Mbale, and I was the secretary of the Uganda Young Congress. He was the head of the Agri Task Force. So naturally, we also tried to bring a president for this country. And it was me and him and another colleague I cannot name because in the UPDF. We are the ones who were always in the pickup on the dust. That's when our story began. The rest. But Jacob is a very tough man. You can hear. If Jacob lost temper, don't try to be. I went through a baptism with Jacob to become his trusted friend. And I appreciated him the way he was. Then, after that, if he brings his signature laughter, you mad. That is the end of the story. That is Jacob. Just that. You go to Jacob with a lie, you're dead on arrival. The thing I know about Jacob was too secretive about his family. I think most of us don't know Jacob's family. You would never. The first person I got to know is Auntie Harriet. He used to come and eat greens here. Then when I pretend to not to eat only greens, says, pretender, you people like meat. Bring this man meat, you eat your meat. He said, no, I also eat greens. He says, okay. His family was too close to Jacob. The second child I only got to know, the rest I would know names, is a team. And Jacob and his dad, whoever knows the relationship, needs support that old man. I request you all enough. It's a point what I would tell him now. If you wanted to blackmail Jacob to do anything for you, you tell him, I'm going to tell you locally. Seems you're getting stubborn. You get what you want. The other thing I would do, I will tell him, Jacob, if you annoy me, I will abduct a team so that you can do what I want. Say, don't dare. He really loved God in his heart, not just hearsay. Jacob. Then he told him one thing, Chris, if you dare come to me, talking, seeking favors, let's stop the relationship. I don't like how that's how it's. I don't like how people they worship leaders. They come to you. Don't need to talk to me for favors. And there are many. Be who you are. That was Jacob. And he assigned me, my role is to criticize his decisions. When he does everything, If I keep quiet, I'm not supposed to talk for favors, speak the truth. And he responds. And we had to keep the closeness in a very hidden way. One day I came from Bukedea. Of course, I didn't have money. So I also pretended like, you can't keep telling the boss you are bad love. He read my mind. We talked all the ideas, how to do this, we did everything. Then I'm like, I want to go back to Bukedea. He says, you man, you look stressed and you're pretending here. You don't even look to have money. Do you have any money on you? I said, sir, how can a stressed man pretend? I said, sir, but go there, that black suitcase of his. Go there, open this money there. You pick what you think can help you look after the children. And when I mean children, take the money to the children. Okay? There was a lot of money, about 70 million. I picked only 10 million. He said, is that enough? I said, sir, I'm very okay. Indeed, I had only 50,000 with me. So I went home to my wife and told her this is from Jacob. My family is devastated. The other thing he told me, I remember after becoming speaker, called me and said, you man, people want to drive a rift between me and my deputy. And you know what it means. Whenever you detect, tell them, Anita is my sister. I've seen them come around here that he imitates. They come to me, I said, no, I don't believe that. But you don't tell them to their face. You just tell me this is what they are doing, favors. One day he was going with the president assigned him. I think he went with the president to Karamoja in a helicopter. So when I met him, I said, Jacob, but you're a congressman. How did the president trust you? He laughed. He says, Chris, discipline. Discipline. That's how he spoke. Discipline, not like you. And washed fellows. Discipline is the president. People come to me, Jacob, do this. They want to meet him. I just tell him, sir, I must also pretend. There are people who think really what I say is what you do. But it's not the truth. So when I tell you that so and so, don't make me look, I'm not powerful. You give some power to me like I'm the one who commands you. Then the president laughed, and said, Jacob. So he would joke with the president. Any WhatsApp call I would receive would be from Jacob. And was always to pass a specific message. The rest was how to manage his politics, parliament. But this particular WhatsApp call in December, I was in the village. He was telling me they had gone out for Christmas, either in a lake. I don't know. Just told me, Jakait, where are you? Said, I'm in Bukedea. With the children. I said, yes. He managed to buy them good things. So how do you take them out? He said, we're just at home. Then he said, Chris. I asked, but how are you? He said, Chris, I'm beginning to see life in a very meaningless way. Like, what does it mean? He says, I'm beginning to see life in a very meaningless way. I said, but don't you know that you're a lion of tomorrow? He said, yeah. That's fine, but I'm not. That is the time I suspect my brother began deteriorating. That's the time, Christmas. I don't know whether you're with him, but it was an outing. Yes, he gave me a call. He didn't tell me where, but he said, I'm somewhere, some waters around. I'm beginning to see life in a very meaningless way. That Yubu is an example of you don't take a gossip to Jacob. He came to me, there's something he needed. He ran to Jacob, I've gone to Chris, this. That boy got a lashing. He came running. Yubu, am I lying? The boy came running, sweating. Says, Mr. Chris, please don't go and tell boss that You had told me this, I've gone there. Boss is tough. I told him, but that's the fire you needed. Because once she assigns me something, I know how to do it. Jacob wanted only members of parliament who are here, anybody who's listening. Jacob, at least in the way he told me, did not want the speakership for anything. He said, Chris, we need to reshape legislation in this country. I want us to change parliament. Chris, I want to do 10 years, and I retire tomorrow. I will not ask anything. I will not become archbishop. People can say anything, but I want to legislate. And he gave his sister, the deputy, run a parliament. He told me she's the one to run the parliament. Jacob misses only one thing, to be on that seat, to process the bills of parliament. That one, he said. And after that, he would go back home. Any other stories around Jacob, they were interacted with him. At least he used to tell people, Chris knows the mission. Even they went to him and said, Chris is allying with the deputy, who is his sister. They want to disorganize you. He called me with a WhatsApp that the favor seekers are now saying you are working with your sister to undermine me. But tell them, Anita is my sister. He said it during prayer in the State House. In fact, he called her a twin sister. So Jacob, whoever thought he wanted to be a speaker for any selfish gain, he's mistaken. He said he wants to improve legislation, to sit on that chair and ask members, under which rule are you rising to speak? Are you raising this issue? And unfortunately, and I assured Jacob, in the 10 years, I don't want to be a clerk, I don't want to be anything, I also want to be in Bukedea. Now the man has gone. Atim, you were the center of the world for your father. No doubt about it. You wouldn't know. Remember they came and he gave you a hug in Bukoto, in his private office, in every discussion. Live satisfied that your father loved you. When I wanted to abduct you, I didn't know Andrew. He told me, do you know I have a man who can use drones and GPS to locate where your team is? I said, do that one. I have someone called Andrew. That's when I knew you were working in Nita. I never met him. That is how secretive Jacob is about his family. So anyone who misunderstood Jacob didn't know the person they misunderstood. When he told me that, he joked with the president, that you would not have ruled northern Uganda if I had managed to block Karuma. I was commanding 400 men, but we were riding bicycles. The time we were supposed to lay an ambush in Karuma, the NRA had already what? Entered. I said, then you poor commander, on a bicycle. That is Jacob. He didn't have any hatred for anybody. In fact, I can put it on record. Jacob only wanted to make a mark in how parliament legislation is done. Jacob didn't want money. I can go and talk for 2 days. Even this house, somebody might be here saying, oh, the man made money. He entered before even finishing. This house, he told me. Before, he was hustling. Said, my brother, I know this house up to the bedroom. The house in Omoro, I've seen you people flashing. I can tell you without fear. That house, when Jacob came to bury my child, he found how small I was struggling. With me and my family, says, he told my wife, he liked joking. I thought you had married a fake man, but now I have confidence that he can take care of you. This guy here, I'm just trying to fine-tune him, who's just scattered here and there. But he has given me a challenge. Then he called me, Chris, What should we do? I told him, Jacob, you love actually, you love culture. But these days we are growing children in urban centers. US are even in the US. If you don't attract them tomorrow, you may be down to lose because kids will be based abroad. Jacob said, I am going to start. In fact, he said, I am going to bring a global village to Ayom, not Lalogi, his name Ayom, Ayom Lon. But I'll not do it the way you have done to sleep. I want it to make value to the children. That house, a few people know that he was not going to reside in it. He was going to make it a resort kind of for Moro and a tap into tourism. That was his mission. And every coin Jacob got, I know how to get. Even the roofing, people are seeing. Some of the people who know this country know. Gave him 100 million. But now people are beginning to scandalize Jacob. This man was not corrupt. This guy was not corrupt. Why do you scandalize the man? Because of power. Why? The guy is not corrupt. That's a fact. If you are corrupt, die alone. Leave Oulanyah.
Brethren, I just want to appreciate all this talk that is going on. It is a kind of healing, and we are so grateful that we are able to listen. Each one of us has a story about the Right Honorable Jacob Oulanyah. I have my own story, but let us leave the family to talk for now. I just want to hand this money that we have put together. It is church money, but we have a policy to give back to the bereaved family. So we have collected 1,188,000, and I'd like to appreciate all of you on behalf of the Archbishop who was here. I'd like to hand this money to the family. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.